I am actually what Black people are.
Yes.
In most places. I mean, Africa's huge.
Yes.
We are elegant and poised. You know, I didn't learn to be this way from Englishness.
So it's like the feminine provides the avenue for him to pursue.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So that's why I think the whole thing of like a woman sending signals is so powerful today.
Absolutely.
Because most guys want to approach, but they feel they don't have the permission to.
I want you, but I don't want to pay the price.
Yeah.
Stay there. That's my thing.
Yo guys, welcome back to another episode on my channel. I'm sitting in this spot, which means I've got a great conversation lined up for you today. You know, on this channel, we like to talk about all things dating and relationships and seeing what we can do to attract the kind of person we want. So without further ado, please welcome the awesome Chengi to the show.
Thank you very much.
Come on, Chengi at Black Swan Academy in the house.
Thank you for having us. Thank you for having the Black Swans.
It's got to be
in
done.
The house.
It's got to be done. We love it. So I want to jump right in.
Of course.
So tell us either your age or your age range, asking a lady her age, and one thing a guy should know about you if he wants to take you on a date.
Oh, I love this question. All right. I'm 46.
Come on, all right. Still got it. Still got it.
We try. I'm 46 and a guy should know.
Yeah, what should he know?
A few things, but is it just one thing?
What's the main thing? What's one important
what
thing?
he should know about me is I'm actually really delicate.
Say more. Why would you think you're not delicate?
I think that I've got an aura that's very powerful, very confident. I've got a high self-esteem. I'm very confident. I'm, and I've always kind of been a leader. So most men will meet me in that role in some way, shape or form.
Got you.
Right. So I think I come across really strong. And I am, but I'm very delicate in a relationship. I like to be handled gently.
Okay.
And then I become a little pussycat.
And have men mistaken that with you in the past?
Yes, I think the lioness version of me is overbearing, and I think sometimes men get almost disappointed.
At which part?
At being the little pussycat I am.
Really?
Yes, I think men who like strong, powerful women like that going all the way through.
Okay.
Right? They like that dominance.
Yes.
They like that. But actually a powerful woman wants to actually be submissive. Right? Because for me, I am making decisions all the time.
Yes.
Nothing moves unless somebody passes it by me.
Yeah.
It's exhausting. So when I'm in a relationship, I want you to make the decisions. When I'm in a relationship, I don't even know what I want to eat. That's how bad I am. I don't even know what I want to eat. I'll be like, I don't know. Should you please decide what we're going to eat? I'm really super, super submissive, passive. I feel sexy. I'm more in my body. I love it when a man takes charge, takes control, makes a lot of decisions. Love that. Yeah. But I find men still want that because they find that sexy. Whoever is attracted to me when they see me up and about or in my social, if they're attracted to my aura, they're often attracted to the lion.
Yes. Yeah. Very true.
And the pussycat is often kind of boring for them.
Yeah. I guess that makes sense because if that's what they know of you, then it's like the guys who would want to adore the other side, maybe they don't get to see it, especially if they're seeing you, obviously, your face on social media and on your platform.
Yeah.
So I guess, what about in an environment, do you show that other side of yourself when you are around maybe a man or men that you're like, oh, like I would like to maybe attract you into my web? Or would you say you're still that lioness side?
I have a lot of dark feminine energy. So, and I use that to attract my mates.
Okay.
That kind of looks very much like...
Right. It's like a Black Widow spider.
Because I'm actually shy.
Really? Are you shy?
When it comes to men, I am painfully shy.
Really?
I am This is the
thing. I don't believe you.
Put me on stage, I'll perform, right? Give me a mic and I'll sing.
Right.
Right. Put me in a room full of people and I have to be the black swan, I will do that. I will walk around. But if I fancy you, oh my God, I'm 4 years old. I don't even want to do the eye contact thing. So the role I play, I get into character and I kind of play the kind of femme fatale, and, you know, I'll signal you and, you know, you'll know I like you. It's a role I'm playing.
Okay.
Because if you were really honestly to see me, I couldn't even maintain eye contact. So I kind of do it to myself.
So how would he know if he liked you then? No, how would he know if that you liked him? If you know?
Oh my God, you will know.
You would.
Yeah, you will know, because if I in a real life situation, number one, I gotta be honest. I don't do a lot of the heavy lifting.
What do you mean?
So when a man likes me, he will move in my direction, because the men that tend to come for me usually are very confident.
Yes.
Right? They're kind of more kind of that alpha energy. They will cross the road. They will come over in the party. They will, so that a lot of the heavy lifting is off me.
Got you.
But I'm actually drawn to more of that Sigma male. I like the quiet, humble, but knows who he is, mysterious character, but he won't approach me. So if I like him, then I'm going to kind of close proximity. So assuming, let's use you for instance.
Yeah.
I'd probably come and sit right next to you and I'd be like, good party, huh?
But that's great. That's not shy though.
Yeah, but I'm still playing a role, because the real girl inside is going, oh my God, what are you doing?
Makes sense.
Right?
Makes sense.
Usually, and then of course, if we'll banter and we'll have fun, or I'll tease him about something, or I'll lean into him, or kind of, I'll do something to make sure that he knows that I like him.
Yeah.
I won't say hi. But there's an art to this thing, to signaling.
Yes.
Right? There's approaching and making the first move, then there's signaling.
There's signaling.
Like a feminine woman will signal.
100%.
A masculine woman will approach, right? Yeah. So I might come and say, nice cap. But I haven't said, hi, how you doing? Yeah. Right? It's then up to you to say, oh, thanks. Yes. And then, usually most men don't need much in the way of encouragement. If they like you, oh, hi, I'm Kid. I got this, and then they will then I allow them to lead the rest of the conversation. Then I kind of play along. Yeah.
So it's like the feminine provides the avenue for him to pursue.
Absolutely. Yeah. Because a gentleman or a high quality man very rarely presses boundaries, right? He's careful to make sure that you feel safe. Yes. He's careful to make sure that you don't feel like your space is invaded. So I find men who are gentlemen, or some are cowards, but by and large, the men I associate with, including yourself, the caliber of men I associate with.
We appreciate.
They are usually high value men, and they're not really into kind of forcing their will. And I am aware a slightly intimidating look. I kind of look, one guy said, you just look like you don't mess with no brothers. I think I got a kind of almost snotty look.
I want to definitely touch on that at some point, because and the reverse as well, because I've had that before.
Really?
But I want to stay on the signals.
Yes.
So for women who are attractive, things are going well for them, etc., but because most guys don't approach nowadays.
No.
Right? And partly because with the awareness of, sexual harassment and stuff.
Yes.
Most guys I think are good men, and they're terrified of being a creep.
Yes.
So they're like, I would rather leave you alone than risk being a creep to you. Right?
Yes.
So that's why I think the whole thing of like a woman sending signals is so powerful today.
Absolutely.
Because most guys want to approach, but they feel they don't have the permission to.
Absolutely.
So as a woman who would sit in her feminine with men, etc., what do those signals look like? As in, how does a woman send those signals to invite the man to come to her?
Do you know, I always say, if you're an attractive woman, and that goes with a lot of definitions, but let's just assume everybody watching this is an attractive woman.
Yes.
Okay, so nobody gets offended.
Yes.
A man has already seen you. Men are so good. their eyes are wired to pick up beauty and attractiveness. It's almost like intuitive. Like you can't even help it.
It's so true.
You're in a room, women are in the room, you are intuitively, instinctively, like your body will just gravitate to this beautiful woman that's walked into the room. So a woman never has to worry if she is attractive and well presented that she's going to be seen. That she has to accept that she's going to be seen.
Yes.
Therefore, the issue is, so women that approach usually don't feel seen. Right? That's why they have to penetrate, because you don't see, they feel there's a deep trauma where they feel unseen in general. Right. So the way they feel they're going to be seen is to be assertive and aggressive in their masculine, right? Because men in their masculine are often not seen. Women don't always see men, right?
Yes,
unless he's
very
like
true.
Unusually tall or really, women don't tend to, we kind of live in this world.
Yes.
We live in our own little bubble, and we often don't see a man.
Yes.
So, but men see. That's their thing.
Men see.
Okay.
For sure.
A man has to penetrate our shield.
Yes.
But they don't have a shield to penetrate. So there's all of these sort of dynamics. So once you have the mindset that I am seen, then all I have to do is signal the one who sees me. Right?
Facts.
So here's the thing. In terms of the practical signaling, I walk into the room, all these handsome men in the room, and I like me a bit of kit. Okay.
Appreciate.
You're going to be used for the rest of this exercise.
It's all right. I'm the volunteer for you guys. I am going to, women will scan the room. If she's single, she'll scan the room. Okay.
You just want to pay attention to the men that are paying attention to you.
Right.
Right. Because that's another problem.
Yes.
You feel you have to be in your masculine to approach, because the truth is he's not looking at you. He sees you, but he's not looking at you.
Right.
So when you walk into the room, I always say to the ladies, who is looking at you?
Who is looking at you?
Because their eyes are telling you everything you need to know.
Yes.
Their eyes cannot move their gaze from you as you walk through the room. So all you have to do is choose from the one who's looking at you, and that is just to meet his eyes.
Right. So then
smile.
Go on, carry on, because I'm going to ask a follow-up question.
So we want to eyeball him, and we want to smile. So we want to do this. Demonstration. We want to do, this is my camera. This is what we want to do.
Oh, I mean, okay. Obviously, if a guy saw that, yes, but most women aren't going to do that.
Because no one's trained them. This is my job, to train women all over the world to signal the man.
It's very, very true.
It's really easy. To be honest, he is waiting. Men are literally waiting for the signal.
Yes.
I mean, that is a bit confident. That's my dark feminine. But even if you're not like that, even if you're shy and you give the... It's still a signal.
It's funny, and I agree. It's funny because I think a lot of women think by looking they are giving the signal, but the look will be like the look, and like look away. And it's like sometimes I get how that could be a signal. Yeah. But then sometimes you just lock eyes with someone because you're scanning the room, and it's purely by chance or by accident. Yeah. So most guys aren't gonna think anything of it.
Yeah. And you know what's really weird? This is what's really weird.
Yeah.
Masculine women would rather actually make the move and totally face the potential of rejection.
Yeah.
But if you teach them how to signal, they really can't. Because it actually takes a lot of courage to be feminine and signal. Because it's more intimate. Because you have to catch his gaze. And it's a lot more intimate. And hold his gaze. That's intimate. And smiling, that takes a lot of emotional courage.
It's true. Sorry, just talking to your mic.
Sorry.
There you go.
Walking over to you.
Yes.
I kind of know men are not going to say no. Right?
Do most women know that though? Because I think most women don't realize that. I think most women, they have that fear of rejection. Yeah. Right? But like most men would not say no. In fact, no. I think the irony is because most guys don't get approached, they're not expecting to. Yeah. If you make the approach, that's going to catch him off guard. He's like, oh wait, you talking to me? Like you're talking, really?
Exactly. But then it doesn't mean he's chosen you. See? That's, it's all about setting up the dynamic. Right. So if I'm in my masculine and I walk up to you, by virtue of being flattered,
Yes.
You're going to be responsive if you happen to be single and you're available.
Yes.
You're going to think, hey, okay. But you have to choose me and I have to choose you. So if I signal a man and he walks over, the effort of him walking over, because masculine men value what they work for, what they put in effort for.
Yes.
It's not a lot of effort for you to come from that side of the room to this side of the room, but you've made that effort and you're going to feel like a champion when I respond appropriately.
Very, very true.
So I'm going to make you feel good about yourself because you did something brave. Yeah. So I'm like, hello, handsome. Right, you're going to be like, hey, that was risky, but I won.
It paid off, right?
So now I'm positioning myself in your psyche as somebody that you want to pursue because I make you feel good.
Yeah, 100%.
Right?
100%.
If I pursue you in my masculine, then you've received me in your feminine and you don't feel good. Masculine men don't feel good so I always say that
I feel good.
Masculine men feel good by doing good.
Yep.
And feminine women do good. Masculine men do good to feel good. Yes. And feminine women feel good to do good. So when I feel good, I do good. If I'm masculine, I do good to feel good. So when I achieve or I conquer and I have conquest and I win that competition and she's the girl that every man wants and I'm the one that gets her. That's a good feeling.
100%.
For the masculine. It feels like, yes. Right? For the feminine, to be wanted, to be desired, to be pursued is a love need, is sexy. Yes. So then she feels good and she reciprocates.
100%. It reminds me of that phrase that men need sex to feel loved and women need to feel loved to have sex.
Yes.
And it's very, very much the case.
I have to feel good to do good, which is why the older gentleman always made sure that that's how gentlemanly behavior came about, because he understood that if she feels good in her body, she feels safe in her body, I'll get away with murder, right? Because she's going to want to do good. She's going to want, when you're with a feminine woman and you make her feel good about herself, her body, her life, everything about her, she will give you the world.
Yes.
Because we live from the feeling place.
Yes.
And we're at our best from the feeling place.
Yeah.
Whereas when a woman, if she's with a man and she lets him, tells him how well he does with her, with his life, with his, you're that guy.
Yeah.
I respect you so much. Look at you. Look what you've done. Oh my God.
And that just fuels him to want to do more. He's like, oh my gosh, like I want to do more for you.
Yeah, he wants to just do
by you
more.
saying that. It's so
because
true.
When he does for you, when you reward him, he just feel, but sometimes men feel like women operate the way they do. Some women do, but a feminine woman doesn't operate that way. I used to have a partner who used to be like, boss, you're the boss. And it would just turn me off so bad. I don't want to be your boss. I want to be pretty.
Yeah. 100%.
Like, I just want to be like, you're so pretty. You're so sweet. Oh, I want those feely words.
Yes.
I don't want to be the boss. So, if I'm in a relationship and a man praises my prowess in business, it's sweet and I appreciate it, but it's not going to turn me on.
Yes.
You have to maybe talk about my curves or something.
Yeah.
I know it sounds silly, but it's just how it is. I feel good when you tell me, things or my personality, or I love your smile. I love the way you're so kind, or, things about me as a person. Those are the compliments that work for me as a feminine woman.
Yeah. That makes sense. That makes sense. I want to touch on people thinking you don't date the brothers. So do men typically look at you and be like, she probably dates white men?
I think so, yeah.
Because I get that a lot.
Do you?
Yeah, but I want to stay on you first and I want to ask you about it.
Yeah, I've had it said to me.
Really?
Yes, I've had it said to me a few times by black men.
Okay, did they say why? Like, what is it about you?
So apparently, I think they try and put it nicely, but the bottom line is I'm not black enough. One gentleman said,
I think you're too posh.
It's because when a person meets you, they feel like you have abandoned the culture.
What does that mean?
That's exactly what I wanted to know. Because I'm like,
mean?
do you understand that I actually speak an African language? Do you actually understand that I'm African? Like, what culture are you referring to?
Yes.
You know, and I think it's the kind of street culture, you know, and this really gets me because I'm like, you have to understand that Africans are highly dignified humans.
Facts.
And we have a lot of poise. And I mean, you know, there's some Africans you meet in the Western world.
Yes.
And yes, they seem some kind of way. But, you know, even the loudest, most aggressive African go to Africa, be in their context, maybe in a village or even in their home, be around them when a marriage is taking place and the ceremony of introduction is happening. And you will be in the midst of the highest level of dignity.
Yes.
You'll be in the highest level of elegance and sophistication. I mean, the elders and the order. I mean, when I got married the first time when I got married to my ex-husband, it's like I've been married 100 times. We went to do the dowry thing in Zimbabwe.
Right.
And we literally had to go to the actual village to do this.
Right.
My ex-husband found that very fascinating, you know. And, you know, it was amazing. The elders and the protocol.
Yes.
And the honor and the respect.
Yeah.
And I think when you haven't been in an African context, a lot of Black people who've not been in Africa and been in the context, not as tourists. No. But been and lived within the African system.
The culture.
We live with such order, such dignity, such respect. No wonder we're kings for so long. Yeah. And still are very much. And I think that when people see Black women in the West who come from Africa, like myself, they think you're not Black enough, not understanding that, no, I don't have the street Western culture that you guys call Black.
That's exactly
I am actually what Black people are.
Yes.
100%. In most places. I mean, Africa's huge. Yes. We are elegant and poised. You know, I didn't learn to be this way from Englishness.
Yeah,
I learned this I was raised in Zimbabwe till I was 18. I didn't come to this country. I wasn't born here. Yes. So the poise and the elegance and everything that I represent, this is African. Yes. So I think there's that kind of there's that kind of misunderstanding.
Yeah, I think there's clearly a Black Western culture. Yes. Which is different to like a typical African culture. Yes. And so I think, especially people who know me, for me, though I was born here, I was raised in a very Nigerian household. Right. And so there are some things where likewise they'll be like, you know, oh, I've never been told I'm not Black enough, but I have always been told by some individuals where they're like, oh, you don't date this kind of girl. You don't date this kind of girl. And it's usually Black women saying, oh, I bet you don't date Black girls. And I'm like, well, one, if anyone who knows me, like my partner's Black, she's Black. So that's clearly just not true. But also, I've always wondered why. And I think like there are just some things I'm like, okay, but I just wouldn't choose to indulge in the things that you would choose to because of where I've come from and the way I've been raised. It has nothing to do with your skin color. Right. Because I've met girls who, for example, are white, but they indulge in these things. I'm like, okay, cool. You're not just the kind of woman for me. Right. And that's not a racial thing. Right. That's just where we choose to invest our energy and what we choose to do with our time and our spirit. Right. Does that make sense? Right. Right. But I guess on first look, because I've had girls say like, who don't even know me, they've not talked to me. It's just on first look. Yes. What is it? What is it about me that like, what is it on first look? Do you think they just go, oh, this guy he dates like the middle-class white girl or whatever? Because that's basically what I get.
I think it's an aura thing. I think it's an energy thing. And correct me if I'm wrong, but did you go to like a private school?
Yeah, I went to boarding school, yeah.
Yeah.
But that was halfway through my teens though. So I grew up in a rough area. Yeah. And then halfway through my teens, I went to like one of the poshest schools in the country. So I feel like I've seen both sides.
Yeah, I totally get that. I went to private school too. Yeah. And I find that we learn this is where I think that people kind of
go for it. Say it how it is, baby. Say it how it is.
So correct me if I'm wrong, but do you find you're usually the few or only Black person in a white room?
Yes.
So what it is, you know, I went to a public school for primary school, and then I went to private school for secondary school. And this is, you know, I was in Zimbabwe though, but I was kind of going to school with ambassadors' kids and a very international, very kind of white experience.
Yeah.
And because we're still forming who we are, because like I think we're talking about, you know, how the brain develops fully at 25. So we're still developing who we are, but we're truly immersed in a completely different culture.
Right.
And that immersion for those years, so we still carry, you know, the Africanism as a base foundation.
Yes.
And if you look at Africanism, like the pure one that I was talking about earlier, and you look at Englishness, for instance, the differences are the English are very poised. Like we're talking old school English.
Yeah.
You know, the cultures actually match quite well.
Right.
You know, the sense of respect and, you know, all of these things. And, you know, we don't talk about business and all of these things. So people like us therefore get integrated into Englishness because, again, you're not dealing with your average English person in a boarding school either.
Yes, that's
you know,
true.
Neither are you kind of, they're kind of more of that middle class.
Yeah.
Kind of up, and that's a whole culture in itself.
Yes.
So we learn to obviously integrate because we are the odd one. In the room. So we've picked up a lot of English ways.
Right.
And nuances that are very normal to us, but Black people can see. So I have friends who are similar to me, including yourself, obviously, because we also gravitate around each other.
Yes.
And the other day I was talking to my best friend who, you know, she's very English sound. She's Jamaican, but if you spoke to her on the phone, you'd have no idea.
Yes.
And again, same stories. While she didn't go to a private school, she was kind of raised in grammar schools and that. And we were actually saying, what is it? Because we're actually very Black in terms of she can cook all the Jamaican food. I cook all types of African food from jollof rice to like, I love African music. I mean, we're so Black in our kind of thing, but we find every room we go into, they call us the white girls. And we were thinking, is it the accent or what? But when I was sort of analyzing and thinking about it, I realized that even our subject matter, the topics we want to discuss, our aura, the way we think, the way we see the world, the way we view the world, it's just very different.
Yes.
And whilst we can change conversation and code switch in different environments,
very true.
Energy is our personal energy signature. Is composed of how we think and how we feel. And so, you know, your energy goes 6 feet around you. That's the vibration of your thoughts and how you feel about yourself as a person. So when you walk into the room, you meet a person's energy before you meet them.
True.
And because we think a certain way, because we've integrated both African and English culture, and we feel a certain way about who we are. I find that, correct me if I'm wrong, but we're very confident in white rooms. I had I dated somebody, a Black guy. And we went to my gym to work out, and my gym is just like 98% white.
Right.
And so I'm talking to everybody and I'm having a laugh and everyone's, you know, this is very normal for me. And he felt really uncomfortable. And then he said to me, you really do well around them. And I was like, I don't understand. Right. And I had friends once I was doing business with them, and you know, these white people came to the stand and they were like, you go talk to them. So because you talk to white people. And then it kind of really dawned on me, and these people are like educated, smart people. It dawned on me that it's about different vibrations and frequencies. So we take this, it's so natural for us, and you know, again, we don't think in terms of he's white, he's Black, he's Chinese. When I'm dating, he's a man, and what energy is he bringing to me, and how is he with me as a person?
100%.
Right? But I understand now that not every Black person is exposed to that frequency, to that vibration. And there's nothing absolutely wrong with it. But I think to answer your question, it's the aura, it's your energy signature. Because when I met you, I thought, he probably dates like me. Right?
Yeah.
And then there are guys that you meet and you think they will not go anywhere near a white woman.
Yes.
Right? And then there are those that you think, okay, they will go near a white woman, but maybe just to use, abuse, or
for
because
play
she's
almost.
easy.
Yeah.
Or what? But then, so you it's aura first.
Right. That does make a lot of sense. And I definitely resonate with, I've dated Black, white, Asian women. Like, if I think you're a beautiful woman, I think you're a beautiful woman, like regardless. So, and it's very much just on the energy that you gave. And, one example I'll give is, I won't say the show because anyone who knows will watch it will know who I'm talking about. But I was doing this show in town in the West End. And there was one girl in the show, a Black girl, who, like, she was super attractive. I was just like, to me, she was just super attractive, all of this. And we started like hanging out, getting close. Now, admittedly, it was, and when I say hanging out, it would be like, if we're on tea break, maybe we'll chat half the tea break or whatever. Yeah. Now, admittedly, obviously everyone's getting to know each other, but there was another girl who I also got on really well with, who was, she was a white girl. And so I wasn't like investing loads in either. Yeah. I was just going with the flow. Right. And I remember with the Black girl, and in terms of looks, I was like, she's definitely all me. But I remember one time we went to this Nigerian restaurant, we were on lunch break, and I gave her a compliment. I think she did something, I don't know what it was, but I just basically, I was like, oh, your hair looks so gorgeous today, or whatever. And she was like, you say my hair doesn't look good every day. And I was like, oh dear. No. And and that wasn't all the time, but half of the time we would spend one-on-one. That was the energy I had. Oh, goodness. And then with the other girl, it'd be like, if I was like, oh, like, you look great today, she'd be like, thank you so much. Like, I'm glad you noticed or something, because I put this on for you and finally you said something. Exactly. You know what I mean? Like, playful. So, and that has nothing to do with like, and on first instinct, my first choice was the Black girl. Yes. But then that's just getting through the door. Then it's just about, okay, what energy am I getting from someone? Right. And then you just go where you feel good. Do you 100%. Know what I mean? And so I ended up dating the white girl for a little bit, and nothing more happened with us. Yeah. And then that's when I think, and it wasn't because we were dating and it was like, okay, I'm calling this off, but it just happened. We just didn't spend as much time together in that sense. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, that's an example where, and that's not black or white. That was just based on energy alone, really.
But you see, this is where certain Black folk would say you're not Black enough because...
I think she was like me. She was like born here, Nigerian as well. Yeah.
But you see, as other Black guys would have found that sexy, I guess, or the whole kind of sass, that kind of rude... Because this is what I say. People do what has worked. Right. Yes. So she's spoken to other guys like that and it's worked. Yes. I remember
that makes sense.
Dating this guy and he was a Black guy and I just really felt super sassy, but I thought, oops, because I was dating different. I think, let's put it this way. Throughout my 30s, I dated mainly white guys.
Got you. Interesting.
It's just my world.
Yeah.
I worked in the worlds I worked in, the places I moved. It wasn't really because I decided I will do, it's just the ones available. And I'm not picky. Yes. And so I'm dating this Black guy, and the white guys I dated, they weren't capable of taking the kind of sass that
I see.
Right, that usually, So yes. I date this Black guy and I said something really sassy to him. Oh, he loved it. He thought it was just so funny. Okay. I think I said something like, we sort of met in a club or something, and he said, oh, sorry, I left you to go and do something or the other. I said, oh, well, you must have been completely crazy to leave all of this.
Yeah, and that's fun though. That's playful. Kind of, that's cool.
Yeah, I've not been able to get away with it ever since. And he just absolutely loved it. He thought it was the funniest thing, and I recognized that he could take a few more jabs in a way that my other partners would have maybe found it a little bit hard. They would have thought maybe she's a bit arrogant or she's a bit. So I think that she does that in general, and maybe the guys who are black enough in inverted commas, they probably find that sexy.
See, I get that, but the irony is she got into a relationship while we were doing this show.
Okay.
And it was like the most white vanilla guy. Like the most most vanilla guy. And I was like, look, as long as you're happy, but it was very much not that.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Right.
And I get that. And I guess that does make sense.
I mean, how vanilla was he? Because really vanilla.
Like he was
he kind of like the feminine in the setup?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I'm being honest. Like he was the feminine in that dynamic.
So he will kind of be happier to take more of that kind of energy. I mean, probably not happier, but, you know, more receptive to it.
Yeah.
Than a masculine black guy would.
Yes.
In your situation.
I think it was.
Because you want to give and have it received, right?
Yes. He would never give it. No, he couldn't give it.
So he would.
Because she would not. No. But yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I want to shift gears.
Let's
I want to ask you something. Okay. Let's talk about having genuine desire, right?
Genuine desire.
So what would you say to the women where they have genuine desire for men who aren't looking for the same things as them, and the men who want them, they don't have genuine desire for?
So the woman has genuine desire for this particular guy.
Yep.
But the guy doesn't have the genuine desire for her.
Or isn't looking for something long term with her.
Right.
And the men that want her, she doesn't want them.
Oh dear, isn't that the classic tale?
That is the classic tale. That's why I'm asking you, the professional.
Wow. I mean, here's the thing. I always say to women, your options are the men who are coming to stay, not the men who want to shag you. Right? Because I think a lot of women get it twisted.
Yes.
Men love variety. And a guy, at some point, and I'm talking about the average guy.
Yes.
He wants to be able to say, I've been with that shape, size, age, type.
Yes.
Before he settles down.
Yeah.
Right. So.
Down with dogs, but it's true. Down.
So a lot of women who might be maybe a certain look, shape, size, so let's say, for want of an example, she's a 4.
Yep.
And he's a 8.
Yes.
Now, he's approached her because he wants to be with a girl like her before he dies.
Sure.
Maybe she was easy, maybe he was desperate, whatever the story is, but this is not genuine.
Yes.
Because obviously he's not trying to stay.
Yes.
Right? He's not trying to make this permanent.
Yes.
Or he's not in a place in his life where he wants to make it permanent, because that makes a difference as well with men.
Yes.
So for her, she's now got it in her head that I get 8s. Mm-hmm. Right? Because a woman can't go backwards when it comes to attraction, and men can't go backwards when it comes to sex.
Yes.
Right?
Very true.
So now she thinks,
Sorry, just speaking to the mic. Now
she thinks, hey, this is my caliber. Then maybe a 7 came, and maybe an 8 and a 7 and a 6. And so now she doesn't want to deal with a 4.
Yeah.
She doesn't want to deal with a 5. But the men who are going to come and commit, because men are interesting beings in that they're not like women, in that a man can weigh himself attraction-wise, status-wise very clearly.
Yes.
Very
true.
And so he will say, okay, she is on my level. I can approach her.
Yes.
Right? Very rarely will a man really approach a woman that's out of his league. Very rarely.
Yeah.
Often it's the same or lower.
Yes.
She's kind of my level of attractiveness, my level of,
Yes.
And so those men that are coming to stay, court, date, that's your level.
Yes.
Right. It doesn't have, now let's say you're thinking, but first you have to accept that's my level. The men that are coming to commit, those are your options.
Yeah.
The
That doesn't make him
coming,
any less of a good man.
No.
Yeah.
You know, those are your options.
Yeah.
And the problem is now, I don't want that one. I want that one.
Because
I don't
that's
want
what
the one
she's
that's
used
my
to
real.
entertaining.
Exactly. Because this is an issue of your personal self-image. So it's hard to accept that I am attracting what I'm mirroring, that the people that are wanting to stay are a mirror of me, the energy I put out in the world. It's hard to accept that when we think ourselves more highly than we ought, when we think, because the problem with the woman's world is everybody pretty. Girl, you're so pretty. Oh my God. Don't let anybody tell you you're not pretty. Because girls lie to each other all the time, right? It's your frumpy friend who made an effort today, but she's frumpy most of the time.
Yeah.
And you tell her she's a 10 today, and she's such a 10, right? Yeah. Women don't say, what are you wearing? I do. I do that. I'm like, what are you wearing? You're going to go back and get changed. No, we're not wearing those. But most women be like, oh, you look lovely. You know, we do these kind of lying things to each other. So most of the time we have an inaccurate estimation of where we rank in terms of how men perceive us. Sure. Right? Men tell each other the truth. Yeah, you know, you're ugly. And they laugh about it. They think it's funny. You know, a woman would die if another woman said, girl, you're ugly. What? I wouldn't even think to say it. Right? Yeah, of course. And so now I've got to deal with the fact that these are the guys that I naturally attract. That's painful to accept. So what I'm going to do is stay in limbo. And then we've got to deal with the issue of trauma. You know, our adult relationships are a picture of our parental relationships. So I'm always looking for that parent to repair the relationship with the parent that I didn't quite get on with or who didn't give me enough love. Yes. So when I pine for this guy that I desire, I want to win him to fix that relationship. Right. So there are two things going on. There's my own trauma and my own needing to, the brain is always trying to balance itself. Yeah. So where there is no balance, it seeks that balance through adult relationships. So I will always go for, I want that 8, because if I get an 8, then I'm worthy, then I'm seen, then I'm known, right? So there's that driver. Exactly. Yeah. Then there's the whole self-rejection. Yeah. And I haven't truly accepted myself, because in order for me to accept my true suitors, I have to truly accept myself. I have to accept, you know, and at different levels, because women, you know, our perceived value changes as we go along. You know, I've had to accept my 46-year-old body very differently from how I had to accept my 36-year-old body. Sure. Right. So that's a journey. Okay. That's just part of life. Yeah, absolutely. You know, my emotional body, my physical body. Yeah. And, you know, kind of regaining that confidence and also accepting what that means. You know, at a certain age, at a certain point, it means something. Whether we like it or not, it means something in terms of who we're able to attract. Yes. And so I'm not stuck here. I'm not like a tree. So if I don't like my 46-year-old body, I can literally change it. Right. I mean, I can't turn back the hands of time. Yeah. But I can change it. Yes. If I balance my hormones and go to the gym and eat the right things, I can go back to even a better body than when I was in my 30s. Yes. If that's important for me to get a certain caliber of man. Yeah. Right. Yeah. So I desire Mr. 8. Yeah. Right. I attract naturally Mr. 5. I can work on myself physically and emotionally and mentally so that number 8, Mr. 8 can see me as a viable option to stay. And it does happen. It happens in my practice. It happens all the time. Yeah. You know, women come to me and they only get these kind of types, right? Yes. We do some work. We get your mind right. We get your heart right. We get your body right. Yep. We style you right. And all of a sudden you've got 8s coming to stay. Right? Yeah. So it's not like you're stuck there, but you need to know how to move from there. And that's it's painful to accept, because we have to first accept some hard truths. Yeah. It's so interesting. I have a theory. Yeah. I want to know what you think. I think that the women who are struggling the most in terms of not getting the relationships that they want, they're happy with, are women who are in the 6 to 7 range. And here's why. Because they are attractive enough for their 8s and 9s to sleep with, but maybe wouldn't consider a suitable option. And the women who maybe
aren't as attractive as 6 or 7, like let's say a 5 and below, they don't get attention from those guys anyway. So the only options they can indulge in are the guys who are their level. So they get those relationships and have very happy, fulfilling relationships. Because sometimes, you know, I've heard girls, they'll be like, oh, but this woman's got a relationship and she's married and stuff, and I'm more attractive than her and blah, blah, blah. Like, why won't guys do that for me and stuff?
Yeah.
So it's like almost the guys who are 8s and 9s end up choosing the women who are 8s and 9s, but they indulge sexually with the 6s and 7s. But obviously, if you're a 6 or 7 and you're used to indulging with guys who's 8 or 9, if you're a 7, a guy who's a 7 or 6 looks unattractive to you.
Yes.
Because like you said, it's hard to go backwards in desire and attraction.
Yeah.
And I completely hear you. You know, I that resonates with me in terms of, okay, well, you can either accept where you are and choose from what's available, and we can decide how to move forward with that.
Yeah.
Or if this is the kind of man you want, then this is the growth you need to do.
Yeah.
What do you say to the women who would say, I shouldn't have to change myself to attract the kind of man I want?
Look, you know, I love that question.
It's a hard question, but it's true.
I actually do love it because there are two realities. And this is something I deal with a lot when I'm dealing with, because I've got male clients and female clients. Female clients standardly live in a fantasy world.
Okay. What do you
Standardly. Yes. Often my job is to bring them to the real world without taking away the potential for who they can be. A lot of women think they are their potential.
Right. That's a good way to say it.
Right. This is potential, honey. It's not your reality.
Yes.
The reality is you are currently operating at a 5-6. The potential is with some styling, with some work, with some this, with some, extra work.
With some crafting.
Mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically, for sure. Because if you're going to signal at 8, 9, there's a way that you got to look, period.
Very true.
Right? If you're going to keep him, there's a way you got to think. There's a way that you got to move,
100%.
right? So all of these things we need to do. And some of, my clients, their journeys are from 3 months to a year.
Yeah.
And this is hard work.
Yeah.
Right? You will work your butt off. And a lot of coaching sessions are wrestling sessions, right? So you have two options. You can live in your fantasy and reality will come to you every day. Reality will look like you getting old alone. That's what reality will look like. I don't have to change I shouldn't have to change. Well, you wouldn't think that for your career. If you want to go from being a manager to a director, you wouldn't think that your current level of education, experience, whatever is enough, surely.
Yeah.
You would think, I have to go back to school. I have to get certain jobs, maybe move sideways, maybe move a few jobs because I want to one day be a director.
Yes.
In this company or in this business. There are moves you will make, and those moves are changing yourself from being manager energetically to director energetically.
Yes.
Because before you offer that job, your employer has to see the capacity is there.
100%.
Right?
Yeah.
So you have to change, not just add skills to yourself, but you have to change. We do it for everything else in the world.
You have to evolve.
I say this to women, even if I'm talking about money, you have to be her before you get what she has.
Yes.
I was a single mom working 3 jobs, raising a son, the normal story.
Wow.
Shelter, homeless, countless times, been through the usual horrible single mom story.
Yeah.
I remember the day that I changed my life and the day my life actually changed. I remember the day I changed my life is when I said, I don't want to be this girl anymore. I don't want to be the girl that struggles. And I don't want to raise a son that knows only struggle. I don't want this. I don't want to be her anymore.
Yes.
There's a version of me I must become. And that is when I started to do vision boards, and this girl was earning money and she was amazing and she was fly and she was helping people and she had good friends.
Yeah.
She had all the money she wanted.
Yes.
I'm not quite there yet with all the money I want, but I'm on my way.
You're doing well. We see you, man. We see you out here.
Right? But I then began the journey.
Yeah.
I used to date funny guys because I had no idea. And I started dating multimillionaires. But I had to be different.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because I wanted different. Now I can sit there and say, well, I don't have to change. You should just love me. Well, you'll be broke, still doing 4 jobs, still doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
Because life does not respect your beliefs. Life is life. You get on board with life.
Yes.
Or you lose.
Yes.
Right? And in life, to win at anything, to be a world-class sports person, you can't show up at little league time. You don't put in little league time or primary school soccer practice to play for Arsenal.
Yes, exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
You always have to change yourself to become what that vibrational frequency is.
Yes.
Men who are 8s, 9s, and successful at that on top, because biology is one thing, you're just born that way, but you could be low value.
True.
Right? But you're at that high vibrational frequency as a man.
Yes.
You weren't born there.
No. Yeah, 100%.
You elevated there. You fought your way there. You sacrificed things there. You know, there were some things you had to not do. There's some gratification you had to delay.
Yes.
Right?
Very true.
Now, I want you, but I don't want to pay the price.
Yeah.
Stay there. That's my thing. Honestly, this is the most loving thing I'm going to say. You have every right to be who you are, stay where you are, believe what you believe, but understand that's where your right ends. You don't have a right to force anybody or to compel anybody or guilt trip anyone or damn anyone into choosing you.
Yeah.
Right? You've got every right. By all means, stay who you are.
Yes.
Clap for yourself. Feel good about your life.
Yeah.
And if you can make good of what that vibration of life brings.
Yes.
If you can make good with that, because look, not everybody wants that.
It's true, because not everybody wants to pay the price.
No.
Because maybe paying that price isn't for them.
Yeah.
You know, and there's pros and cons to being that anyway.
Yeah.
And being with that kind of man anyway.
Yeah.
And you're absolutely right. It's funny. It's like, you know, talking about career or something, you know, people think people who are like CEOs, they think they're just in their big office on the 50th floor with their feet up, just watching the hundreds of thousands roll in.
Yeah.
But when actual fact, they work, you know, 60, 70, 80-hour weeks earning that kind of income. And now a lot of people be like, well, yeah, if I was earning that kind of income, I would work those hours because I'm earning that income. And it's like, no.
Doesn't work that way.
You have to work those hours now.
That's right.
To get to that position. Right. Like the work comes first.
100%.
Before the results.
100%.
And I think when it comes to dating and the data dynamics, the intersexual dynamics between men and women, at least within the Western world, I think men learn in reality this lesson very early on.
Yes.
We learn very quickly. Like when we're 20 and we're broke, still living at home. Yeah. And, you know, we really fancy Cassandra, but she's going out with a 29-year-old. She owns his own place, has his own dog, drives a nice car, got a flourishing career. Yeah. We're like, oh, wow. Like if I want this kind of girl, I have to get that. Yeah. And I need to do the work to become that. Yeah. So I guess my question is, why does it seem that this has to be why some women learn this later in life, or why it's a surprise or it's a shock to learn this part of the process for women? Why do you think that's the case?
To be honest, I think women are operating on antiquated views, or programs or scripts. You know, when I look at the way that I was raised, all I had to be was pretty. Right. That's all I had to be to find a man, get married. I had to be pretty. Yeah. And as far as my family were concerned, tick. Right. Same thing with my sisters. Tick, tick, tick. My mom spent a lot of time teaching us how to groom ourselves and all of those things. And in the world that I was raised in, it was enough for a man. Right. Right. Like I didn't start dating until much later because we weren't allowed to be dating. But when I did begin dating around 18, men were also scripted differently. You just had to be successful and
true.
Period.
Yeah.
And I think both men and women are struggling at the moment.
Yeah.
And so for me, being pretty meant I never had to worry about anything. I remember even with cousins, brothers, anywhere a male resided, I could leave the house with no purse, nothing. And I would be fed, clothed,
looked out
taken care of. No one's going to hurt me, and I'll be dropped off at home in one piece.
Yes.
Because, it meant it was their duty.
Yes.
Yeah. And, they were happy to do it and they got something out of it. And, they got to be with a pretty girl, and that was enough status wise, etc. But now, and then we taught our kids that the same thing. My mom passed that down because it kind of worked for her. And then she taught me that, and it worked for me. I got married and I was pretty settled and with a decent lifestyle.
Yeah.
But then when I came out into the dating world, it was a whole different world.
I can imagine, yeah.
It was like, what the hell?
What the hell is this?
I can't just be pretty.
Yeah.
Like I actually have to understand a man's psychology. I actually have to nurture him. His energy, I need to nurture a man.
Yeah.
That was very, what?
Yeah.
I didn't even know that a man needed to be complimented too, that he needed to feel, that I thought he was amazing, or that a man had needs, that even on his looks, he appreciated. I didn't know that.
Yeah, so
because,
true.
And then throughout the years, I realized exactly what I didn't know. And a lot of my clients were like, really? We had no idea what it takes for a man to feel compelled to be attracted to you emotionally. They've got emotions.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness.
What?
You guys have
human
emotions
beings too? No, it's
Like,
a
no.
lie. It's a lie.
They're all dogs. They just bark.
They just bark and bark. That's it.
That's all you do.
That's all we do.
And a lot of women. So our mothers didn't know to teach us this.
Right.
And then my generation raised, we took the hit. The Gen X's, we took the hit because we were part of the kind of fruition of feminism.
Sure.
And all of a sudden we're angry feminists and we are, we don't understand men and we're entitled to them. Right? We feel this sense of, but I'm pretty.
Yeah.
But you should want me.
Yeah.
I've got a great job.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just amazing.
Yeah.
But what do you offer?
Yeah.
Right. And then so what happened is men were changing too. Men were like, nah. Like I need something from this encounter.
Yeah.
And because sex was now something that was liberated, I no longer just, before I'll do it because you're probably the only girl I'm going to be able to get. And, I've got to work this angle because that's how I'm going to secure my sexual stability.
Yes.
Now we're all feminists, so sex is free.
Yeah.
So men are like, why am I suffering this again?
Yeah.
Like, honestly, I don't even need to deal with what did the young lady tell you? Just I don't look good all the time.
Yeah.
Now men are like, I don't need to deal with this.
Yeah.
Because I can deal with that.
Yeah.
And there's no stigma around. Because also, when I was growing up, you can't talk to me without my brother trying to have your head. Like, it was going to cost your life to talk to me, right? Yeah. There was a protection around the woman. There was this, she was sacred. I was a virgin when I got married. It was standard.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, that's how I was raised in an African. Yeah. My mom, Africanness. So even when a man was going to get you, he would tolerate a lot of things because he's getting like a virgin.
Yes. Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And I'm not undermining anything because, I'm not virgin anymore. But the point I'm making is that the offerings have changed.
Sure.
You're not offering your virgin self to a man anymore. You're not offering this naivety and this, it's just not an offer. So, but you're still operating on the same principle that I'm the prize like that. Right? You still have the mindset.
Yes.
So what happened is we were not taught that the game has changed.
Yes.
That sexuality in your body is no longer leverage.
Yes.
It can be, but it has to be attached to so many other things.
It's
right?
so true.
But it's no longer, I keep hearing it all the time. Oh, you give the man the milk and he's going to not buy the cow. Listen, you cannot give the man the milk, but he still ain't going to buy the cow.
Yeah.
Because it's a whole different thing now.
Yeah.
I say to women, that's just old stuff.
Yeah.
You've got to show good sexual management. You have to display virtue.
Yes.
But, a man's not going to marry you because you said no.
Yes.
And you said, celibate or whatever you said.
Yes.
You have to now bring more bandwidth. A man has to see you as an asset to him and his life.
Yeah.
Emotionally.
Yeah.
Spiritually.
Yes.
Mentally. I have to create a space for a man where he feels like a king. I have to create an emotional space where he has to bring it too, but these things women are learning in my master classes and they're thinking, oh my God, I could have done that. I just didn't know I could. And that's where I feel I was talking to this guy and I said, I know men think women don't want to. Many women don't even know they have to, and many don't even know how to.
Sure.
If I said to a woman, the average woman, I want you to build emotional attraction with a man. She wants to, but she doesn't know how.
She doesn't know how. That's so true.
Because all she has is these kind of feminist teachings. I'm not anti-feminist, by the way, but I am not feminist. I don't identify as feminist.
Yeah.
But I understand the good that is. I'm not keen on this current version of feminism because I happen to love men. You see, so it doesn't work. I adore men. I do. So and I've got a son. But I adored men before I had a son. Because also I have to be honest that even though I've suffered greatly at the hands of men, I have been loved greatly at the hands of men.
Sure. Yeah, we don't. Right? It's so true. Yeah.
Men have loved me.
Yeah.
I have been loved and protected and cherished and given to and loved on by men.
Yeah.
So well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. I've been ghosted too. But I think that for me, my experience with men is the net experience of it is really good.
Yeah. And it's so interesting. You're so right in terms of back in the day for the woman to get the ring, get the commitment, the things she had to offer were things that she was born with.
Yes.
It was, the chastity, the purity, the sex, the intimacy. Like that's something you are born with. You don't have to work to be able to give sex, to be able to be a virgin, whatever it is. Whereas now it's like you said, because it is free, it's kind of like, okay, the things that now almost you have to offer for a man, at least a good man who's on his, got his stuff together, high value guy, for him to go, I accept this offer, it's things that now you have to work on. You have to work on knowing how to attract him emotionally. You have to know how to bring value outside of sex. And I think that's, and maybe it's not their fault in terms of today, because men, we see very clearly what we have to be able to offer.
Yes.
Whereas I think for a lot of women, not only are they told that the old way still works, but also I think they're misled by a lot of narrative that it sounds bad. Not that they don't have to offer anything, but like the rhetoric we hear is, I am the prize. I am the table. And when it comes to who's the prize, etc., my theory is that, women are the prize, but men are number one. Yeah. In that sense, because
you have to be a champion to get a prize.
Exactly.
You have to be number one
to get the prize.
Yes. And what I say with the prize thing is not every woman is a prize. Now people don't like it. Sure. And not every man is a champion. Very true. Right? Because to be a prize, you have to be elevated. Your quality as the way you think, the quality of your thought, the quality of your emotional world, the ability to, to self-regulate as a woman rather than just let your feelings in your mouth. There's no filter on your mouth. There's no way of regulating your emotions. You're just a wild card, basically.
Yeah.
You have to be so elevated. A prize is elevated, you know, and a champion works hard.
Yeah.
Right? So if you're not elevating yourself as a woman, if you're okay as you are, and you know, that's fine, but you're not going to meet a champion. And you don't have the right to say, I am the table. And you don't have the right to say you're a prize. And prizes are not prizes because people think they're prizes. The Academy has to decide that Oscars in the Academy?
Yes, yeah.
The Academy says this is the prize.
Yes.
The gold medal is determined by the Olympic board.
Yes.
Right? You don't get to select yourself as a prize. It's when men say you are a prize.
Yeah.
And same thing for in
man.
Reverse.
Yes, very
you know,
true.
if women in general say, wow, you are a champion, then you are a champion.
Yes.
Not because you said so.
Yes.
Right? I'm not a prize because I said so.
Yeah.
I'm a prize when men say to me, geez, bloody hell.
Yeah.
Woman.
Yeah.
I'm a prize when men just want to put a ring on it all the time.
Yes.
Every guy I've dated, other than the last one, was very short-winded, have wanted to marry me, have wanted to commit. That's a prize.
Yes.
The kind of woman that I can't let you go.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
If that's happening to you often,
yes.
you're a prize.
Yeah. Yeah.
If
very true.
women are wanting to hold on to you, high quality women are wanting to hold on to you, and they just can't believe they're like, you're a champion. The problem is we live in a culture where we can call ourselves stuff.
Yes.
You know, I'm a queen.
Yeah.
I'm a this. We can crown ourselves. We can do all these things.
Yes.
And it gets to our head. But it doesn't work that way. For every, you know, the Queen of England is not the Queen. She didn't just decide, well, I keep referring to the Queen. God rest her soul.
God rest her soul.
The King of England.
Yes.
Didn't wake up and say, I'm a king. This is prescribed. There's a prescribed way to
become king.
A king.
Yeah.
There's to be a champion, there's a prescribed way. We know every champion pays a price. We know he goes above and beyond. We know that. It's prescribed. It's not, I'm a champion. So I think it's also modern day culture where, you know, men call themselves kings and women call themselves queens. On what basis?
On what basis? So true. It's like the person who is the richest in the room doesn't go around telling people that they're rich.
Thank you.
They don't need to.
Thank you.
Because everybody will validate that for them.
Exactly.
Anyone who's a stranger will be like, oh, you know so-and-so. Oh, yeah, they're this person.
And there's a bank account to prove it too.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Right?
It's so true. There's something I want to ask you. Okay. Is it fair to ask for a woman to be in a submissive role in a society where they work?
Ooh.
And then part B would be, is it fair to expect a man to be the sole breadwinner when the average salary doesn't pay for a family of 5? But let's take the first one.
Let's start with the first one. I believe that submission is not requested, it is inspired.
Oh, yes, say more.
Right? It's never fair to ask a person to submit. Right? Even for my son.
Yes.
It's not fair for me to ask him to submit. I have to be a good mother. Right. My son naturally submits to me, naturally serves because he's truly loved and honored. I teach women that when your son reaches the age of 10, and this is science, that you now have to respect him like a man. Yeah. So when my son speaks, I do not interrupt him. If I interrupt him, I have to apologize. I can do it if I want because I'm his mama.
Yeah,
and I'm black.
Yes.
I mean, some people might argue that, but you know, I can do the whole, no, I said, right? But when my son speaks, I listen and I let him finish. I make sure that if my tone is disrespectful in any way, I apologize.
Wow.
Reason for that is I'm training him to identify a quality woman. So I have to be that woman for him, that this is how a quality woman behaves.
Yes.
But I am teaching him respect, and this is what he does without me asking. I don't open a single door.
Wow.
I don't carry anything heavy.
Yes.
Never. I've never said to him, this is your job. You must carry my heavy things.
Yes.
From the time I adjusted and began to respect him as a man, which is what women should do.
Yes.
A lot of women don't know this, but if
Yes.
you're going to raise a masculine man, that's what's required.
Yes.
And it's humbling for the mother.
Sure.
Like, I feed you and your clothes.
I take care of you. I pay for everything.
I pay for everything, the roof over your head.
Yes. I still protect you.
There's nothing you need that you don't ask me for.
Big facts.
Right?
So true.
But I still have to honor you.
Yeah.
And respect you as a man.
Yeah.
Even if I disagree.
Yeah.
I have to wait for you to finish and say, may I offer a suggestion? I speak to my son like he is a king. Right? And he honors me. Not by force.
Yes.
But because the way that I honor and respect him means that he will protect me with his life.
Yes. So true.
Of course, he's my son, and probably most sons would.
Yes.
But he honestly, if I want to get on his nerves, I open my own door. He will be like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah. Wow.
He will not have it.
Yeah.
He protects me like we're going to Tesco.
Yes.
Josh. He's my bodyguard.
Yes.
I am the most precious thing. And this speaks to, the training women need to give their sons.
Yes.
But also how a man responds
to the feminine.
To a submitted soul.
Yeah.
Now, I don't submit because I'm inferior.
Yes.
I submit because I understand there's a button in a man that if I press it, he'll give me the world. Wow. I do it because I'm greedy.
I love that. I submit because I want it all.
I want it all.
It's so true.
And I get it all.
It's so true.
If you understand, it's selfish.
Yeah.
It's really not because I want to make men feel good about themselves.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that if I do, I'm going to get stuff back.
Yes.
Because the masculine is generous.
Yeah.
I always give the example of a man's sperm. When he ejaculates, he doesn't give you one sperm.
It's true. It's millions upon millions upon millions.
Because the masculine in his masculinity is built generous.
Yes.
When a man is not giving and he's not all of these things, there's trauma there. There's some issues we need to discuss, or he doesn't feel safe.
Yes.
If a man feels emotionally safe, honored, respected,
yeah,
he will give you his card.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah, yeah.
He will work and give you everything he earns.
That's actually so true.
Like, men don't withhold from women. In the same way as when you ejaculate, you're not withholding.
Yeah, yeah.
You just let it all go.
You just let it go. Just here you go, babe.
Yeah, it's
all for
right.
you.
And the joy is in releasing all of you into this wonderful space, right? We do it sexually, but we don't understand that that's how the dynamic works outside of the bedroom.
Yes.
When we take it as women, when we get penetrated, we are submitting.
Yes. Yeah.
Right? And women who don't want to submit outside the bedroom are submitting to 100 guys a week.
Yeah.
Right? But because we've taken sexuality away from the relationship, and I always say, let's put sex back to the relationship.
100%.
And then we're going to be okay, to be honest. I'm okay to lie down or not lie down. Whether I'm on top, on the side, or below, I still have to be penetrated.
Yeah.
And that takes submission.
Yes.
Right? Now, when I submit, even in that sexual experience, I get this release of all of his energy.
Yes.
Because it's not just sperm. I receive his energy. I receive his strength.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And if I'm really, really lucky and I really, really love him and he loves me, I get to have a little baby. I get to receive life and produce it, right? So much to be had.
Yeah.
Now, if I can take that principle outside of the bedroom and I choose willingly,
yes,
right, to honor, respect,
yes,
and let him lead, which is really submission, he'll give me the world. This is mainly why I have so many amazing experiences with men.
Yeah.
And this is why my clients end up attracting these amazing men who spoil the hell out of them.
Yeah, you're saying a lot of things. I'm like, wow, that's so parallel to my own relationship. I'm like, oh my gosh, like, I do the most. It's just because I'm like, I just want to give.
You feel compelled.
For you, yeah.
It's like releasing a button. It's like it's a hack.
Yeah.
You release this abundance in a man and you won't have half the problems women have.
Yeah.
The thing is, if you as a woman, if I bring competitive energy, a man can't help it. It's in his nature to compete.
Yes.
If
so
I am
true.
going to come to the table with, so I've got a Rolex and I've got whatever it is. If I lead with my accomplishments and not my heart, because a lot of the successful women are like, yeah, but do I have to dumb down? I'm like, no, you just have to go into who you are. Because you're not your job, you're not your career, you're not your car.
True.
You are kind and warm. You are funny.
Yeah.
Who you are, bring that to the table.
Yes.
And a man won't care what car you drive.
Big facts.
He only cares what car you drive because you're bringing the car to the table.
Yes.
And it's not currency for him.
Yes,
you know?
exactly.
So a lot of it is kind of recognizing that if I can, you've got to be selfish enough, and feminine energy is selfish, but it's selfish in the wrong ways, right? As it's seen in culture right now.
Yeah, the feminine consumes.
The feminine consumes, and the feminine has to be receptive.
Yes.
So I always say to women, a feminine woman doesn't take from a man, she receives.
She receives.
Now, if I'm taking from you, then I'm having to guilt trip you, emotionally blackmail you, play you, manipulate you, exploit you. That's me taking.
Yes.
Right? But if I'm in my feminine, I'm receptive. All I have to do is be open. All I have to do is lean back, let you be the man. Look, you can be right if you want to be right.
Yeah.
And I can too. We just don't have to go to war about it.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
I can say to you, sweetheart, you have every right to believe that, think that, and do that. I just feel, hey.
Yes.
Why do we have to cross swords and blades and all of these things?
Yeah.
And a man who has a woman who deals well with his soul, because his soul is tender and sensitive, will always take counsel from her before he makes any real decisions anyway.
100%. And I think this is one thing that I always try and articulate, because I get the word submission is such a buzzword, I think, for a lot of women.
Yeah.
And because I think it immediately they picture tyrannical man who controls me.
Yeah.
And it's like you said, kind of when you choose that quality guy that who wants to give to you, even if he's in the quote unquote leadership position, he wants to know what you need. He wants to know what it is you want from this so he can make the best decision a lot of the time for you, because that serves the relationship. So he will always ask and want your input. And especially if he's chosen to commit to you, like you said, just being attractive isn't enough anymore.
No.
So that means he is choosing you because he values your mind. He values your insight. He values your perspective. And he also recognizes, well, maybe he may be very capable in a lot of tangible things that help take care of the relationship.
Yeah.
There are things that as a woman, you will see that he just will not see.
Absolutely.
And that's so valuable to him.
Absolutely. Because the instinct of a woman, you know, I say to women, you know, they'll say, what if is a tyrant? And here's my response. The man has assertive rights and woman has veto rights. And we all have to vet and select.
True.
And what we do is we vet based on questions. Look, I can ask you a question, you can lie to me, or you can give me the one that you think I'm going to want.
Very true.
But how I'm going to vet you is I'm going to show up at my most feminine, most submissive, and I'm going to see whether you exploit that, manipulate that, or honor that.
Big facts.
Because that's all the information I need.
Yes.
Because I'm not going to try to be your leader. I've already got business over here and a whole community over here that I lead and who think I'm fantastic.
Yes.
But I don't need that from my man.
Yes.
So I want to be cherished by him.
Yeah.
That's what I desire. That's what my world over there can't offer me cherishing. They can offer me respect, but they cannot offer me the cherishing I need.
Yeah.
And so I'm looking for a man who will cherish me. I'm going to vet him based on, I know what you need. And you need me to be soft. You need me to be funny. You need to be sexy. You need me to be all these things. Okay. How do you treat it?
Yes. And
if I put a golden bowl before you, how are you going to treat it?
Yeah.
The moment I see that you think that my submission makes me stupid, that my submission makes you think I'm easy or low, whatever, anything that, if you do not respond to my humility and my femininity and my honor of you with cherishing, if you don't open yourself up and give me more of you, more of your time, I know time is really valuable, so that's why I like it from a man. If you don't give me more kindness, more thoughtfulness, you are not my man.
Yes.
The reason why we fear submission, like you said, is because, gosh, I have to be, submitted to this this guy, is because you never tested him to see how he handles precious things.
Yes.
We've got to test people on how they deal with precious things by offering them precious things.
Right.
Not the whole cabinet of diamonds.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
We're going to keep some of these other things for levels of commitment, right? We exchange 100%. For like levels of commitment. But you will for sure, if you date me, for instance, for sure, you will meet a woman who is always well presented. I don't have bad hair days. That's a personal standard for me.
Yeah.
When I say bad hair days, I mean, you're not going to see me in a bonnet looking funny. It's just not how I roll. I sleep in silk. Even as a single woman, right? I've kept my standard really, really high.
Yes.
So for me, you will get the best of me. You will get kindness, thoughtfulness, consideration, deference, and preference. The moment I see that you think that makes me stupid, you're out.
Yeah, 100%.
And there's no negotiating with me. This is the thing as well, because being feminine also comes with being high value.
Yes.
If you have something of value to protect, you don't let people come in and sit and make a meal off your blessing.
Yes.
Right? If you have the privilege of coming in and I choose to date you, the experience for you is going to be amazing. I'm going to make sure of that.
Yeah.
But I am testing you at the same time.
Yes.
I'm testing your quality. I'm testing who you are as a man. If you respond to me with what I need, you're the guy I need to be investing more of that into.
Yeah.
So I don't need to ever be afraid.
Yeah.
The reason, if I come with the questions and you answer them, I'm not going to know if you're tyrannical.
Yes. Yeah,
I'm just going to think he's smart. And then when I asked him, like, how many kids do you want? He said 3. What's that got to do with the price of bread? Because we've got to live together, and and it's about dynamics.
Yeah.
How does he cope with the dynamic of a gentle, sweet-spirited woman who also is successful, who also has all these other things going on? How does he handle that?
So I have a question for you. I completely resonate with that. Of course, I'm biased, but I would. What would you say to the women who say, okay, she can offer those things, she can be those things, but why would she give girlfriend/wife treatment to the man who isn't her husband yet? Does that make sense?
Yes.
Shouldn't essentially, I'll do the wifely stuff. I'll be the spirit of wife when he has made me a wife.
No.
What do you say to women who say that?
I'm Christian, so I'm going to use scripture because I know you probably have some Christians going up here, and then I will then give you a non-Christian, understanding of things.
Sure.
He who finds a wife finds a good thing.
Amen.
Not he who finds a woman who will one day be a wife finds a good thing.
Yes.
That means that there's a predisposition of being a wife.
Yes.
Men look for commitment. When a man is commitment ready.
Yes.
He looks for wife qualities from the gate.
100%. 100%.
And I'm also going to say that even if a man is not necessarily commitment ready, but his life is commitment ready, because sometimes a man's life is commitment ready. That means he's in a position to provide some and take care, whatever, but he's not made up his mind that's what he wants to do. Maybe he wants to play a little bit, but his life is ready.
Yes.
He could house a woman.
Yes.
He could, take care of her to a degree.
Yes.
But he's just trying to play. If he meets a wife in that time, he will start to think about commitment. He will.
Yeah.
It's a quality you have to develop. But this is what we're talking about earlier for those non-Christians who maybe don't like, who got triggered by me using scripture, because that happens too. It's about vibrations.
Yeah.
So we're talking about that on the money level. We're talking about on the career level. It's about a vibration. You have to vibrate there for a very long time, like you said earlier, before it comes. So I've been doing this. I've been in this business probably 9-10 years now.
Yeah.
The first 5 years, I earned nothing.
Yes.
When I say nothing, I mean, I think YouTube gave me 50 quid on a really good month.
Yes. Yes.
Right. 4 years.
Yes.
I coached for free 4 years.
Yes.
Even now, because I'm going to my next level, I give masterclasses that are 4 hours long that would cost thousands for £1 because I want to vibrate at my next level.
Yes.
So I can't think, okay, like I was sharing with you some of my business plans. I want my business to look this way in the next 2 to 3 years. There's a price I'm paying right now.
Yeah, you pay the price now.
Right now,
yeah,
I am giving away ridiculous amount of things.
Yes.
My time, because I want to vibrate at a higher level. Once I hit that vibrational frequency, my next level will call me.
Yes.
Right. I wanted to be an international speaker for quite some time. I started speaking in groups of 5, 10. I would see myself. I would not refuse any invitation to speak anywhere.
Yeah.
Now I speak all over the world.
Yeah.
Now I'm flying to speak, but I had to vibrate at that frequency
first
because the frequency, life operates on vibrations. That's why we have the rich, the poor, the middle. It's all vibrations. We're all humans. We all have brains. We all have capacity. We all work hard.
Yeah.
But your vibrational frequency determines where you are.
Yeah.
So you don't get to be a wife, to be found, then become a wife.
Yes.
You have to be a wife.
To be found.
To be found.
Yes.
And for men, it's the same to a degree.
Yeah.
You know, you have to embody the spirit of a husband. And, you know, I think I've said a lot about women not being ready and women being told the wrong things. But like I said, I think men struggle too. I have male clients right now. I have a client who's a multi-millionaire, very, very wealthy, very handsome, hot. I call him handsome. I'm like, oh my God, you're just so gorgeous. But that's what I do with men.
Yeah.
When it's true.
Yeah.
And good man, very good looking, very wealthy. And he's ready for a wife now.
Right.
He doesn't need me to get shagged. He doesn't need me to get laid. He needs me to find a wife. He is learning what it is to vibrate at the frequency of a husband.
Right.
Because if you are not a husband, if you are not mature, if you don't see the world a certain kind of way, a woman who is a wife will reject you.
100%. So true.
And the reason it came to us is because a wife rejected him. He didn't think it was possible with his money and his looks.
Yes.
She rejected him so badly.
Right.
And went off for a man lesser than him, but who was more.
Right.
And he has been reeling from it. And usually when men come to me, it's usually because they've lost a wife.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And I was saying to him, do you see that the way you're moving right now is what caused you to lose that wife?
Yeah.
I said, because you were not in alignment, you're not in position, you were not focused, you were not as a man. Okay, so feminine energy gets what it attracts. Masculine energy gets what it wants.
Right. Or what it gives?
What it gives, but also what you want.
Right.
A woman has to choose from what is attracted to her. Then she chooses.
I see what you're saying.
A man, I want that.
Yes.
If he sits around and waits for what comes to him, it will never be to his liking. So the men who have great things wanted them and went for them.
Yes.
Because the masculine penetrates. The energy of the masculine penetrates the world to get
what he wants.
This is why men go, they're driven, they go get. If I have to build my business and get certain clients, I'm now learning to be a feminine CEO, which is attracting what I need. But initially to get to the point that I went into my masculine.
Yes.
And I had to penetrate the world.
Yes.
A man is better suited biologically, his testosterone levels, his hormonal cocktail, his psychology, his physiology is designed to penetrate.
Yes.
Now, what he was doing was sitting in his feminine and doing, well, I'll just wait for all these women that are coming my way and then choose.
Yes.
So,
yes.
But if he had been penetrating the world, looking for a wife, he'd have recognized her the moment she showed up. And a lot of men are hemorrhaging wives because they're not looking for a wife, because your mind, your reticular activating system will help you hone in on the qualities of a wife, because you'll mistake her for that sweet. Another client of mine is getting married. He's a guy. And he kind of went away and came back, and I was doing a catch up with him, and he said he's gone back to his first girlfriend. He left her because he just thought she was a sweet girl.
Yes.
She's sweet, but
Yes.
But he said, Chengi, I went around, dated, because it's like because when I met her, she didn't make it hard for me. She didn't have very much in the way of experience. So I just thought she was easy, because that's the thing with a wife. Wives don't make it hard.
Yes.
They have standards.
but
they don't make it hard.
So true.
If you approach a wife, she's going to be receptive. She's going to be sweet.
Yeah.
She doesn't make it hard. If you disrespect her, she going to go. Yes. And when she goes, she
goes. That's it. It's done. It's done.
And he got really lucky. But, he eventually kind of went off and did all these things, dated other women, and almost lost it. He had invested, I think, something like $250,000 into a business idea she had.
Damn.
In the time he left her, she had made it into like $1 million business.
Wow. Good for her.
Now, that's what a wife does.
Yes.
A wife is super productive.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
If you meet a wife, she can take you from where you are to, just by her feminine presence, her belief of you, the way she handles your spirit. Because when a man is handled well, he's very productive.
Yes, so true.
And a wife knows how to handle her man, his ego, his nature, and to fuel it to flame.
Yes.
And he becomes great. I always say to people, every guy I've dated, I've left him way better off than when I met him financially.
Wow.
And hopefully spiritually and emotionally.
Yeah,
but,
I can imagine so. No, I imagine so, for sure.
Because when I'm dealing with a man, I'm always seeing who he can be. I always see the king in him before he does.
Right.
And then
Yes.
Right? So and many men have not heard, but you're great though. But my goodness, your mind is amazing. You should do that. Yeah. You should totally do that. I think I've got a way that we could do that. Would you like me to show you how we can do that?
Yes.
And all of a sudden he starts to see himself.
Yes.
Right? So, but women who operate that way tend to, when a man's not looking for a wife, he tends to think she's lovely. She's sweet. Sometimes even boring, let's be honest.
Yes.
She's not going to be the most exciting woman in the world.
Yes.
So he's going to go searching for excitement.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So
you elevate them, and you
elevate them, but we can be boring. I know that a lot of my ex-relationships found me boring at some point. Like I said to you earlier, I think before cameras were rolling, that when the pussycat comes to the table, she's a little bit boring. But it's because my mind goes to, how can this man truly be who I see him to be?
Yes.
And that's boring. Sure. That's not swinging off chandeliers. That's not party. It takes a kind of seated energy in a woman, and that can be boring.
Yes.
And, the reason why all my exes always come back, and usually it's too late. It's always too late. That's the thing, because a wife moves on quickly, because guess what? Another man is going to quickly identify.
Yeah.
So true. I do think that men need help with this?
Yeah, I think a lot of that comes with maturity, because a lot of what you've just said resonates with me and my situation a lot. Those who know that with my partner, we dated previously years ago, and things ended in a similar fashion to what you said. But now I'm in a place where I can recognize a wife.
Yeah.
And that's why I was like, this time round, I was like, I don't know what I was thinking before. I don't know how I didn't see it before. Do you know what I mean? And it's so true. And I think that shift came partly age and then partly losing my father. So it changes your perspectives and things that the way I see certain things has matured me by about 7 or 8 years.
Yeah.
Like there are things that I think about and the way I see things, I'm like, on the trajectory I was on, maybe while things were going well, I'd be thinking this way in 8 years' time.
Yeah.
And that's when it was like, oh yeah, I would have been mid, late 30s then. I'm ready for a kid, settle down, all of this.
Yeah.
But what, like everything you just said resonates so strongly. I guess I was fortunate enough that it came around a second time.
And you're a thinker too. You think laterally. A lot of men don't really think, because this guy is 40 that I'm talking about. Yeah. And, you know, men have been lied to too, in the same way women have been lied to. Men were told, okay, just make money.
Yes.
But now a man has to have a lot of emotional depth.
Yes.
Because a woman now requires to be cherished. Always has.
Yeah.
But she would forfeit the cherishing for the money.
Yeah.
Now women are saying, I need more emotional intelligence, more healing, more presence of you. And well, if I were taught that all I have to do is have money, now I'm confused.
It's true.
Right?
The offer for men has changed.
Exactly. And I have like I said, I love men because I love women. I love humans because I think that, yes, we hurt each other and we do all these horrible things to each other.
Yeah.
In my experience, it is mainly ignorance that does that.
Sure.
There is that 20%. I mean, narcissism is like 6% of the world's population. It's a very small, minute percentage.
Yeah.
You know, people that are, you know, kind of predisposed to being psychopathic in behavior, and they're a small percentage of the human race.
Yes.
Most people want the same thing.
Yeah.
We want to love and be loved. We want to be seen, known, and heard. We want the same thing. It's just that nobody taught us how to get that legitimately. Sure. Or get it in a healthy way or expediently in a way that serves everybody. So a lot of what we do is ignorance. And I find that a lot of the hurt men cause is not because I know you and I've known you a while and I know you're a good man.
I appreciate it.
You were welcome.
I appreciate it.
And so anything you would have done would not have been to hurt anybody.
No.
It's just that nobody taught you. So for me as a mother to my son, I should have had 100. I would have been such a good mom to 100 boys. I was actually talking to him this morning and he said something or did something. And I said, and I kind of corrected him. And I said, I'm your mother. You can absolutely say that to me because I am your mother. Never say that to your wife or your girlfriend.
Right.
Right? Yeah. So I am teaching him that there's a difference between the role of the mother and the role of the wife. Yes. What a woman needs from you, a mother doesn't. Right? And there's a sharing you can share with a mother that you shouldn't share with your wife because she's going to feel unsafe if you share that.
Very
But
true.
your mother is going to open her wings and wrap you in them.
Yes.
I tell him the difference because I want him to win.
Yes, of course.
Right. Now, how many sons get that?
Big facts.
So we take our relationship with our mother and we duplicate it with women.
Yeah.
It doesn't work.
Yeah. Yeah.
It'll work in part. The love you have for your mom, that works.
Yes.
Take that affection and give it to a woman.
Yes.
But the operation doesn't work.
Yes.
And true. A lot of women just think, oh, my son will know how to So men are out here doing their best.
Yeah.
They're really honestly doing their best.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of women would disagree, but I genuinely think that men are doing their best. In their minds, they're chasing money because money is what women want.
Yeah.
And yes, but I guarantee you, if you can bring me vision, even if you don't have the money, give me vision.
I'll be on board.
Tell me you're a man with a purpose. Do you get what I'm trying to say?
Big facts. It's true.
I don't even need to see the money. If you see a man with a vision, you know he's gonna be wealthy. You even want to jump on that bandwagon quickly.
It's so true.
It takes a mother to say a woman needs you to have a vision.
Yeah.
Right? I don't.
Yeah.
I need you to be alive.
Yeah.
That's the concern of a mother.
Yeah.
I just want you to breathe.
I just want you to be
and
here.
to love me.
Yeah.
And so I can love you more.
Yes.
But a woman needs you to have a vision.
Yeah.
So a lot
100%.
of men need, and a woman needs you to hear her. And this is how you hear a woman. So, I'll talk to my son and he will answer me in a certain way. And I'll say, I can take that because I'm your mom. But if I were your wife, what I would want for you to say is, and
That's
what I would
so
want
good.
you to do is.
That's amazing.
And so, which is why the academy exists, because I understood that it's people need an education.
Yes.
The problem is people don't think they need an education.
One. Yes, it's true. It's ignorant incompetence.
Yes.
And not in a mean way, but it's the ignorance and competence to you now know that you don't know. It's like the 4 stages of learning.
Yes.
But why don't I've asked and grilled you. You brought so much amazing value. I can't wait to watch this back. What was something you'd like to bring to a conversation, or you said you wanted to ask something?
So the context. So I'm walking to the car. I told my coaches this. They were like, wow.
Yes.
And I was like, I just have to ask him when I see him again.
Go on.
So we're walking to the car and I'm trying to sell Kit this whole, but I'm a sweet, good woman and I don't need very much and I'm easy to please and,
Yes.
and Kit is like, I hear you. And I think you were trying to explain to me, but it wasn't quite working. So we're in the car park.
Yes.
And you said to me, yeah, Chengi, I hear what you're saying. You're saying you can park anywhere here. You're not that, that hard. You can park anywhere here. Mm-hmm. But to get into the car park, it's £2,000 or something.
Yes. There's an entry fee to the car park.
I thought that was so funny, but it's almost like a penny dropped.
Yes.
Right? I guess it's more personal. So let's pretend the camera's not here.
Yeah, go for it.
Why? I think a part of me has kind of known it, but I didn't know it like that.
Sure.
Explain to me that entry price. Who set that? What is it set at? How does it come about in a man's mind? Because in my mind, there is no entry price.
Okay.
So you explain that to me and all the other women like me.
Okay, sure. So there's a lot of rhetoric where women will be like, I want an emotionally vulnerable guy. I want a nice guy.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to have money, etc. Like, I want him, all these very nice, kind qualities.
Yes.
And what a lot of men's experience is they will lead with those qualities.
Right.
And that doesn't get them the opportunity with the woman who expresses that she wants those qualities in a man.
Right.
And what they observe is that it is different qualities that gets the opportunity for him to show those things.
Right.
So, and what often happens, we're talking like stereotypically younger, not even younger, just people in the dating world anyway. But the nice guy gives the treatment of the boyfriend she would want, but he doesn't have the qualities that arouse her.
Right.
He doesn't have the qualities that goes, I want to, we said the feminine provides the avenue for the man to pursue.
Right.
He doesn't have the qualities for her to go, I want to provide this man an avenue.
Right.
So then maybe what happened is she'll date the bad boys, right?
Right.
And the bad boys essentially is the man who has the masculine qualities that she wants to provide an avenue for, but he doesn't give her that boyfriend treatment that she actually wants in the relationship.
Right.
So when you were saying that, a man doesn't have to be this, like he can park anywhere in here. I'm like, yeah, that sounds great. You're like, a guy can be this in a relationship. I'm like, that's fantastic. But there's no point in him being that if he can't even get you on a date first.
Right.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's kind of like saying,
yes.
The other example I'd give, it's like, imagine Oxford University says that all of our students, if they want to change course halfway through, they can do that.
Yeah.
If they want to express their sexuality, they can do that.
Yeah.
If they want to express their political beliefs, they can do that.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, that's great.
Yeah.
But I have to get into Oxford first in order to enjoy the benefits of the environment you wanting to provide.
Right.
And so I think, and this is where a lot of men, they can get resentful of the advice of when women say to men, I just want a nice guy. Right. Because what guys observe is that you say you want us to be like this in this environment, but there is a price we have to pay to even get into that environment.
And what is that price, do you think? So, okay, let's use me, for example, because I just want to get my therapy in.
Yes.
So a guy looks at me and he thinks, oh dear, the price is... What price has he told himself is required to talk to me?
Okay, so
do you think?
Sure. So looking at you, right, I know for sure a guy would look at you and be like, okay, cool. I know I have to be on my shit to even get a chance with her. I can't be a man who is living at home with his mum. I can't be a man who doesn't have, I'm going to be honest, doesn't have a level of financial abundance that can provide the lifestyle that you are used to.
Right.
That is what a man thinks.
Right.
Obviously, the way you present yourself, he knows he's not going to be like, hey, Ma, let me take you home tonight. That's not the energy and aura you have.
Right.
So immediately, which is obviously great, there is a level of respect he will already afford a woman like you.
Right.
And I think if a man is not in a position where he can be the man he would want to be in the relationship with you, he may postpone pursuing you.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Right.
Because if you're kind of like, okay, and I completely get it because you provide for yourself, you made this, great success for yourself, you're at a great level. So you don't need a man to come in at that level to provide for you because you do it for yourself.
Right.
I get that.
Right.
But ultimately, that doesn't necessarily mean that the qualities that would put a man at that level is still attractive, regardless of if he's at that level or not.
Right.
Because when we look at Martin Luther King and his wife,
right.
Technically on paper, because she was working, she actually earned more than him on paper.
Yeah.
But he was on a very important high purpose.
Yes.
So even though technically in the eyes of the market, the level, she was here, he was here, when it comes to the qualities of a man that is admired, he was way up here.
Absolutely.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I think men will naturally make that assessment. But I think men have learned through their experiences with women that, every woman says she wants a nice guy, of course. But
question,
of course, go for it.
But what if you've been let through the gates without any of this?
If he's been let through?
Yeah, you've been let through the gates. That means I'm dating you.
Yeah.
I've decided, you know what? Why not?
Yes.
And often I've done my maths.
Yes.
Right. So, okay, you're not there, but you are definitely going to get there. You just need my help here and there, perhaps, or even by yourself, but it might take you longer.
Sure.
You have the right mindset. You're kind of masculine enough. There's a future that I can potentially see. You're not there. So guess what? You get a free pass, right? And while you're here, you're still going to get the same treatment every guy gets, which is, premium.
Mm-hmm.
What happens in that moment where, because I'll tell you, don't tell any of your followers or any of mine. A lot of the relationships that I have, because I've dated very wealthy men who it's been fine, but again, they had more money and they had nothing else to offer.
Yep.
So that doesn't work for me.
Yes.
Because money is not my love language, sadly. I've always prayed that God would change it, but it's not. Then I kind of thought, okay, maybe, because they feel more confident, right?
Yes.
Yeah. But then there's nothing here.
Yes.
So I thought, okay, I'm going to open up my bandwidth, because it wasn't even a thing mentally. It's just that they're the types of men I attract from the places I go and the people I hang around with. So I thought, no, I'm going to broaden my bandwidth because I want more. I love a man who's passionate about his thing.
Yes.
You know, and all these other qualities.
Yes.
Somebody with legacy in mind, you know.
Yes.
So I kind of started dealing with men who didn't have as much, but had those sort of mindsets, right? So you've been let in to the room. So what I find happens is there's a lot of enthusiasm, and then there's a kind of shift where either things get really competitive.
Yep.
Or we get the whole, I don't think I'm ready to be with a woman like you. Can I come back? Kind of.
Yes.
Story. And I'm thinking, hang on.
What's happening?
Did you? No?
Yes.
I actually had that happen with one partner who he just said, look, I just can't be what I need to be with you.
Yes.
So can I check in later?
Yes.
You know, and that's been kind of 2 years since he's been trying to check in later. So I've never quite got but you got in though. Why didn't you just hold on for dear life?
Sure.
Right?
So I think what would have happened is, and correct me if I'm wrong.
Of course.
You're not going to downgrade how you live to the level of a man, even if you like him.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that means he has to come to your level.
Yeah.
If he's going to come to your level, and like I said, correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes.
I'm assuming, for example, if you're used to going on holiday, staying at 5-star hotels.
Yes.
I'm assuming you still want to do that, but you're not paying for him. He at least has to cover half. Right. So that means that he has to come to your level because you're not going to cover for him. Right. But he may not be in a position where he can operate at that level.
Right.
And that's where you say it's like it becomes a competition. The competition aspect is I need to prove to you that I can operate at your level.
Right.
Because you might be like, hey babe, let's go to the Oxo Tower, which for a dinner for two, the average price is £450. He's like, I can do that once a year, but I can't do that twice a month. Do you see what I'm saying?
Funny.
And you might be like, you're like, oh yeah, but I would usually just go once or twice a month because that's just what I like to do. I enjoy the atmosphere. This is the place I like. And he's like, I want to be able to give that to you, but I can't.
Right.
I can't give it to you to the frequency, to consistency that you want. That's not that he doesn't care about, he doesn't cherish you. So it's one of those things where it's like when he goes, I need to go and try and grow to become the kind of man that you need in a relationship. It's weird because he's ending things, but he ultimately, it's out of his respect for you and for the needs that you need in a relationship. He's like, I'm not going to try and hold on and ruin it. I would rather go away. It's kind of like this. It's like if he's playing baseball, he wants to hit it. He wants to hit a home run. And he's about to get a pitch. He's looking at his bat and he's like, this bat is too small. And I can only bat once. I'm going to go back, make a bigger bat and come back when I know I have a much better chance of hitting it and making a home run. Because if he ruins the relationship with you now, he knows he can't come back. Because like you said, you go, when I move on, I move on. Especially if he did you wrong. Or not even did you wrong, but if it becomes toxic, there's elements of resentment, there's seeds of resentment. And so what he'd rather end things on good terms so that it is a door that he can still walk through when he feels he's able to. Because like I said, you're not going to be paying for a man's life.
No.
And you're not going to lower your lifestyle to accommodate for what he can operate at. Right. So a lot of that will come from because he can't operate at that level with you.
So he didn't know that?
He didn't know
gate?
what?
Like, so obviously I'm assuming that you said, face value, this is what a man would assume about me, right?
Yep.
I'm assuming this guy who's been let in saw that price tag at the gate and he got in anyway. What was he thinking? Why didn't he just turn and
just leave me alone?
I mean, the price is clear.
100%.
So if you're in the room, it's because you've been favored for whatever reason. So
I think because Sometimes it happens where a man will look at a woman and be like, I would like to be involved with her, but he doesn't know if he wants to be long-term with her.
Right.
That is a decision that men make once they start dating.
Right.
So I know women tend to, correct me if I'm wrong, they can make that decision very quickly, whether this man is long-term and this man is only short-term.
Yeah.
Now, while it is true, when it comes to attractiveness, if a man is very much more attractive than her, he can go, okay, this is short-term. When it comes to a woman that he's like, okay, I find her very attractive, etc., I want to date her and get involved, because maybe you dated for a few months and he would have been like, yeah, I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
Or maybe you would have dated. He goes, this is someone that I actually want. If he gets to a point where he's like, this is somebody I actually want, men take a lot of pride in wanting to be the kind of man you want them to be in a relationship.
Right.
Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. He wants to be able to be the kind of man that he wants to be in the relationship for you. So if you got to a point where he was getting to know you and was like, wow, she's actually amazing and I want to be with her, but he's starting to recognize that I can't operate at her level and I can't adjust to that level, as well as him going, I don't want to ruin the potential of what this could be. He's like, let me leave it while it's good and come back when I've leveled up.
You have saved a lot of lives.
Does that make sense?
Do you know,
Does that make sense?
Completely. Like, you're talking and I'm literally like pegging it to all of these, because a lot of my recent relationships, and I don't have many because I'm a bit of a workaholic at the moment. I'm working on not being that.
Yes.
The ones that are probably the last 3 have pretty much ended like that. We're still it was like there was no
animosity.
No.
It's very
but
good
this
terms,
whole
100%.
kind of messaging, it wasn't said to me in that way, but the messaging was very much, I'm a mess. Right? The last one was like, I'm a mess.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't see the mess, but okay. You know, so it's always been kind of like, okay, I call them sweet goodbyes, you know? So for me, because I find before they can articulate that, there's a kind of pulling away behavior that kind of happens.
Yes.
In which case I kind of don't have time between what I'm trying to create in the world and figuring out what's going on with the man I'm with. So I tend to then kind of call in everybody for a board meeting.
Yeah. Let's figure this shit out.
That's
what the hell's
I'm
going on here?
You know, I can tell from the way that there's something is there anything, you know, and then at that point, that's when it kind of comes up. I never as articulately or as clearly as you're making it seem. It always seems I'm a bit of a mess. The last one said I'm a bit of a mess. The one before that said, can I come back? So
do you know what the irony is?
I didn't get it.
100%.
I was like, that's so mad.
Because they've been with you.
Yeah.
And that's not saying that once they've built that, they wouldn't come back. I fully believe that, because I think my own bias, a wife can be hard to find.
Indeed.
So, and it happens all the time. They say guys will come back. The irony is, let's say while he's working on himself, if he meets another woman that's attractive like you, he'll be like, I'm not going near that because I already know I'm not at the level I need to be to pursue that.
Right.
So that's him learning his lesson.
Right.
It's not like, oh, okay, cool. Like, same thing, date for a bit. He's like, oh, I know what comes with being with this kind of woman. Right. And so I'm not even going to pursue this. Right. With this other woman, in terms of, unless he felt who's in a position that he could. Do you know what I mean? And like you said, half of it can be ignorance. So he didn't know that maybe, or he didn't realize that he would need to raise himself to your level in order to maintain the relationship. The practicalities, the environments, the experiences of the relationship. But now when he comes in across a woman like you, he'll go, I already know what this is, so I'm going to leave it alone because I already know I'm not there yet. Right.
You know, one thing I've picked up from a secondary thought that came to mind.
Yes.
Is when you gave is it Malcolm X? Is that, who did you?
Martin Luther King.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because I've always wondered, because I kind of hear these stories where the woman earned more, he didn't, but he still kind of held on and they built something amazing together.
Yes.
And I was like, why can't that happen for me? Why do these men feel like they have to be gods first, you know?
Yes.
But then I think you said it earlier with the Martin Luther, that I think a man can have less money, but he needs to be higher status. Yeah, in his mind. So whether it's a status that comes from his, you know, his purpose or his activities or whatever, he still has to feel like there's that high status. Even though you earn more, he still has to feel high status. Yeah.
And she still has to see him as high status.
Yeah.
Because he was, I mean, as far as historical men
sense.
go, when it comes to societal rights, he's one of the most highest status men there is historically.
Yes.
So the whole thing of her earning more, and I think a lot of the time, yes, money can give status, but money doesn't always equate to status.
Right. Yes, that's right.
Because you could be the prime minister, but the position of prime minister, they're only earning like 130K a year. They're not even in the quarter millionaire club.
No.
But they've got the highest status on the land, and everybody treats them as such.
Yes.
So money doesn't equal status, but the recognition from both parties, but especially for the woman, because I think it's difficult for a woman to give the man the level of respect he needs in a relationship if she feels that he is lower status than her.
Yeah.
And the thing is, with today in our society, the main thing that is used to reflect status is money. That's why I was like, I will not be with a guy who earns less than me, because it's like, I will not be with a guy who's of lower status. But there are other ways to have status outside of money.
Absolutely.
That's just what that is.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
As always, we always talk
I
my
know,
stuff
we're gonna
and
wrap
then
it
it's time
there.
to go.
We're gonna wrap it there. Chengi, we appreciate and love you. If people want to find you, where can they find you?
Well, at the moment, Black Swan Relationship Academy across the board.
YouTube.
Make sure you put the relationship piece, because if you put Black Swan Academy, that's a whole other company.
Something will come up.
But Relationship Academy, that's me on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. I think TikTok is like Black Swan something, but if you put it in, you'll find me. It. And my website is blackswanrelationshipacademy.com.
We appreciate
So that's where you can find me.
Thank you so much for sharing your energy with us today. We appreciate
you
you
for
guys.
having me.
Go give us some likes, some follows, go show up all that good stuff, all the love. Thank you, Chengi, for coming on. Guys, thank you for tuning in, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye.